Are we live? So today on this podcast, we're actually going to sit down with our perfumery team. And the biggest question I think that we're going to have asked is, how did you get involved in the industry and where did you come from?
You want me to go all the way back to the beginning?
I heard this comment the other day, and it was actually from a preacher. And he said, I want to go from diapers to bedpan, right? And I was like, diapers to bedpan? I've heard birth, to womb, right? Womb to tomb, but I hadn't heard it that way. I thought that was kind of funny. So let's just go back to...
I can go back after I got out of high school.
There we
and
go.
Went to college.
That's perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to know all the details too?
Okay.
So
Adam actually asked me this. Adam was like, so how did Ron get involved? I said, well, the same way you did. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, his dad walked in and said, you're going to work.
No, sort of.
I think that's how it went.
It was sort of like that.
Okay.
Okay.
After high school, did not know what to do. I was accepted to go to a community college.
Okay.
Went there for 2 years.
Okay.
I was accepted to go to finish it at a different school afterwards.
Okay, community college. So what did you think you were going to go into?
Liberal arts. I started as liberal arts.
Yeah.
Then I was going to go into furniture making.
Okay.
All right.
A trade.
Yes.
Yeah.
But after 3 semesters, and he...
You told this story, but go ahead.
No. After 3 semesters, I left all the hard classes for last.
Oh,
you
so it
should?
got so
Yeah.
tough
Right?
you were like, this
So,
is
ready?
getting...
And Spanish was one of the last classes I had to take.
Okay.
And you had to give a speech in front of the class in Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Didn't work out well.
That was not going to happen for me. I wound up quitting school.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Still living at home.
Yeah.
Get home, you get a job or get out of the house.
I've had this conversation with the
Okay.
kids.
Okay.
So my father was working at International Flavors and Fragrances. At that time, it was the biggest in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how long he was working there, but the next thing you know, within a week, I got a job at IFF.
IFF.
And I started from the bottom up. Night crew, production.
So you came in as a janitor?
No, I didn't get that low. There was a night crew doing production, making 1,000-pound batches and stuff like that.
So compounder.
Yes, and at IFF, there was always opportunity to move on further.
Yeah.
When there was job opportunities. So from there was sample lab.
Okay.
I applied. I got moved into the sample lab.
So you were compounding in the sample lab?
Yep.
Or were you pouring the samples?
No.
You were compounding?
Compound in the sample
Okay.
lab, which was better than working the night shift. And
Oh, of course,
heavy
you're
stuff.
miserable.
And there was air conditioning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From there, next was quality control. An opening came up.
Okay.
And they had me smell 20 things, and I identified 19 out of the 20 correctly.
To make sure your nose is good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a job in quality control.
Okay.
Okay, but IFF, so they do flavors and fragrance.
Yes, but I worked in the flavor division.
Oh, I was about to say, well, that's the worst
No,
side.
I worked in the flavor division. Okay?
Yeah.
So I have an uncle who lives in Texas who works for the fragrance industry.
Okay.
And my dad had gone down to visit him on a vacation, and he comes back, how would you like to work for the fragrance industry instead of flavors?
Okay, so IFF, where were you at? Was that New Jersey?
Yes.
Okay, so you were in the main hub of IFF,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in New Jersey. You got a family member in
Texas.
Texas.
Actually, he was in
Houston?
Houston at the time, but he was
Houston.
moving to Dallas.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? Why not take a look?
So I don't really like New Jersey, right? So for me to go from New Jersey to Texas, I probably would have jumped on.
What are you?
I think you like New Jersey.
What are you basing it on that you don't like New Jersey?
The climate.
Wait, have you lived there?
I have not lived.
So how can you pass?
Canceled.
How can you pass judgment?
I wouldn't live anywhere north of Tennessee, just
Why?
because of the cold, the snow. I'll travel. I'll be there for a week, but I'm good.
Shimiel's been up north. He knows
I
what it's
live
like.
in, yeah. I live there. I mean, I like both places. I mean, it depends.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you go up there and you like, and then there's certain things down here that you like. So it's a mixture. But I don't hate anywhere. You can get certain things from certain places. You know what I mean?
You live in New Jersey.
Okay, so if you had the choice
Right.
of, you were in New York, right? Mm-hmm. New
city.
York or Atlanta, same job, same pay, same bills. Because cost of living's higher up there.
Yes,
So let's just say
yes.
equal 50-50.
Yes.
Which would you go with?
Atlanta. It has changed, though.
Yeah.
The New York that was New York is not the same New York that
Yeah.
it is now. And same for Atlanta, too. It's not
Agreed.
the same
Yeah, the
as it was.
populations
Yeah,
have
so it's
changed.
different. It's changed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you the same. So if you were, okay, so at your age, New
What?
Jersey,
What, the age now?
Texas, Was the pay the same? Was he going to give you a raise to go down to Texas?
I don't even remember how that worked. I really
Okay.
don't.
You were just interested. Here's an opportunity,
Yeah.
and you decided to go
And
for it.
at that time, how many years ago was that? Jeez, 1986.
Oh, God.
Okay, this is BC or 80?
The cost of living was much cheaper down in Texas.
Of
Housing,
course.
taxes,
Yeah,
everything.
it still is. Yeah.
So I said, yes, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So you go from paying $2,000 a month for rent in New Jersey to $600 a month in Texas.
No.
Well, you were living with your parents, so you
No,
weren't
no,
paying.
no, no.
Oh, okay.
I never paid rent anywhere.
Okay.
Oh, lucky.
When we got married, I got married, the first thing was a house. I said, I'm not paying someone else's, it's mine, it's a house.
Okay.
So IFF actually moved from northern New Jersey to central New Jersey.
Okay.
So then we had to sell our house in northern New Jersey, buy a house in central New Jersey, and I stayed there for 2 years. And in 2 years, that house doubled in selling price.
Okay, so wait a minute. You had a mortgage on the house. It wasn't
Yeah.
paid off.
No, I had a mortgage.
Okay, so you had a mortgage,
Yeah.
sold that, went to the second one, and you made money off of it,
Oh, yeah.
and then went down to Texas.
Yep.
So you basically can almost take the money that you made from New Jersey and
Yeah.
buy a house down there cash.
Correct.
Okay.
It wasn't cash, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, so then I accepted the job.
Now wait a minute. You didn't have any kids then, though,
No.
but you had met your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so you and your wife off to Texas.
Yeah.
Did she fight you on that?
No.
Okay.
But I can tell you a funny story backwards.
Yeah.
I had not told IFF that I was going to be leaving yet, and I was in quality control there,
Okay.
and I was doing a pretty good job, and they wanted to make me daytime manager.
Okay.
So my boss calls me in, and he starts giving me all the details. This is your new salary. This is this, and this. And he's looking at me, and he says, why aren't you happy? Why aren't you asking any questions? I says, the timing is just bad, because I have news for you today.
I'm putting in my notice.
Yeah. And I put on my notice. Well, wait, that's not the end of the story.
Yeah.
I was supposed to play golf with a friend that day. All right? And there was a bus trip from IFF. They were going to Yankee Stadium, and there were people coming back to IFF. And I was driving to meet my friend at a golf course, and it's a one-lane road, a two-lane road each direction. And I see my friends coming back, and they honking their horn like, slow down. And I don't know what happened. The next thing you know, I slam on my brakes in my little pickup truck, and I'm flipped upside down on the side of the road. Windshield wipers are going, all sorts of stuff.
So
Yeah, that was
you
the
were
day-
going to get a raise and a promotion.
Yep,
You quit. You put your notice in.
yep,
And then you wrecked your car.
Yep.
All the same day.
yes, sir.
That's pretty active. That's pretty good.
So why did you want to
So that was an omen. That was like, I need to leave because it's all going south.
The omen was that when I moved back down to Texas then, since I lived it was a Mazda pickup, I just went out and bought another Mazda pickup since it treated me so well.
That's pretty good.
So why did you want to quit?
I don't know really why.
I mean, to me, it's the whole corporate mentality of a bigger company.
Oh,
It's just different. I mean, here's policy, procedure.
yeah, but it was good.
I mean, it's good. The money's good. You're young.
Money's
you
good.
need-
The benefits were good. Pension was good. Everything was good. At that time, I was just young, and we took the chance. And I went from the flavor industry into the fragrance industry.
Is this one of those scenarios where you look back and you go, "Man, I was young and dumb"?
Would I do it over again? I don't know.
No.
Might do a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you go to Texas for this. What was the name of the company?
Oh, you got to creative fragrances.
Creative.
Yep.
Okay. So you're there because of a family member, and that's in Houston,
Yep. No.
and then he goes to Dallas.
Yeah.
So does that mean you're left by yourself?
No.
No? He was still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I worked there for 10 years.
And what were you doing there?
Everything. Duplications. Sample lab, quality control, GC work, extractions.
Because it was a smaller company, so you do a little bit of
Yeah.
everything.
With less than 10 people.
Okay.
Just
I
like
can see that.
Just like when we started.
And I mean, to me, that's the best way to learn. Because it's not like, oh, I only know this part or this part. I literally handle all of it.
Even when people were out in production, I look forward to working out in production. Something different.
So this is why you're so negative against the production guys, because you started from the dirt. A lot of people don't know when we get a new employee, they'll come in and they'll be like, "Oh, so who's this guy?" And he'll be like, "Oh, I don't need to know them. They haven't passed their 90 days yet.
No. He's gotten better.
Has he?
Oh yeah.
So he talks
Yeah.
with them after
Yes,
2 weeks?
Yes. When I first started, it was kind of like that's it. But
Yeah.
now, as time progressed, like he's actually like talking.
Yeah. As you get older.
As you get older, whatever.
Okay, so you have your wife. You're there 10 years.
Yep.
So at that point, you probably had one or two of the boys,
Both of them.
both of them.
Yep.
So then, what brought you from Texas to Georgia? Or is that what happened?
Yeah.
That is what
From
happened.
Texas to Georgia.
Okay.
Perfumer and Flavorist always had advertisements in the back of their magazine in the beginning.
Okay. So you were always looking. You were ready to jump.
You always look because I was working for an uncle who had a son in the same business.
So you had the family problem.
It was a family problem.
Yeah.
And it was time to move on.
Okay. So you saw an ad.
Yep.
We're looking for a perfumer, and come interview.
Yep.
So you interviewed,
Yep.
and how'd that go?
Very good. That's how I wound up in Georgia.
So like they were like, "Psh, you're great. This is exactly what we're needing. Psh, pack your stuff and let's go."
Yep.
And that was, IFT.
Yep.
and that was before their buyout.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that was Zimmerman and all that. Alan was still there.
Yes.
Okay,
That was in
Alan, Deepak.
96, 97,
Oh, that was at the beginning.
96 or 97
Yeah,
is when I came here.
96, 97. Okay, so how long were you there?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
And then they went through their buyout.
Yeah.
And then
Offered me to go back to New Jersey if I wanted.
and you didn't want to go?
We went up and took a look, but after you lived in Texas and Georgia,
Yeah, where you can buy a home for $150,000, and you go up there,
it was impossible.
and it's 400,000 is your base, one bedroom, one bath.
Impossible to do.
Yeah.
So I had kept in touch with some,
Did your wife want to go though? Did she go up there and be like, "Oh, I want to move back"?
no, because we looked.
See what the South does to people?
Yeah, kind of get spoiled, for sure.
Okay, so they offered you a relocation. You could go up there.
Yep.
And
I said no.
you were like, "No, I'm good."
So I kept in touch with some previous co-workers at IFT,
Okay.
and that's how I got into Monarch Fragrances.
Okay. And that was Perry and Phillip in their
Yep.
startup. Okay.
And you know
And then-
and
so then-
and you know the rest from there.
Yeah. So then you were there 5 years.
Yep.
They got bought out by Fragrance West, which ended up being Firmenich, which
Yeah.
ended up being Agilex in the whole scenario anyways. Interesting.
So that's the whole story.
Okay. So really, you came straight out of high school
Yeah.
and
Two-
straight
no,
into the industry.
year and a half of college.
So there was no McDonald's, Subway, bagging groceries.
Nope.
None of that.
No.
Wow, you're like a true, from birth,
Yeah.
fragrance guy.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Add up all the years in flavor and fragrances. It's a long time,
That's a long time.
but that shows my age too.
All right. So now we'll go to you.
Alrighty.
So how did you stumble into this?
Went on Google, typed in labs.
Okay, well, let's step back. So
Okay,
so let's go
step
from
back.
him. You're in high school.
She's
In high school.
You're
she's-
graduating high school.
Uh-huh.
And then you're
And
like,
then-
what am I going to do with my life?
Going to college. It had to
Okay.
be that. So I had to go to college.
Now, that was because you wanted to do it, or your parents were saying
I
you
wanted
need
to go
college?
too, and also the parents. I mean, it's kind of a cultural thing too. Like you're not just gonna sit at home and not do anything. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So first, I had to go to college. So I went to college, and chemistry was not my first major.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What made you choose the college you went to?
Well, I went to a couple, and I wanted to be a little farther away, because there was Kennesaw.
Yeah.
There was UGA, which is a little farther, but not too far. And then what else? Georgia State.
Mm-hmm.
And I visited all those colleges, and
I decided to go to
yeah, I
NCU.
was just like, I just wanted to go. I wanted to go a little farther. I liked, I did the tour. I liked it. The people that was there. So and also the thing that I studied, which was computer science. I actually started that first, and took the class, and I was like, hell no, like this is not for me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I think when I hit my sophomore year, I was like, yeah, this is not going to be for me. I was good with it, but I just didn't like, the way the classes were set up and so forth. So I was like, this wasn't for me. So I always was good with sciences.
Yeah.
Like, since I was in, elementary school, high school, was always good with the sciences. I didn't want to do biology because so many people were doing biology. That major itself was like so many people were in there. And then you hear
My
stories.
son was like, I want to go to become a marine biologist.
Right. And it's
I
just
said,
like,
how are you going to get a paycheck with a marine biologist?
Yeah, you have
I
to
get
be
it.
realistic. There's so many people doing biology, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like the backup. Like
Yeah.
if you couldn't do a nursing, kind of went to biology,
Yeah.
you know. So I was like, I was good with chemistry. You know, I took honors chem in high school, and I liked it pretty well, you know. So I went to my advisor and was like, do you think it's a good idea, you know, to switch? Because I was kind of in my sophomore year, so I wasn't in the heavy part of my major yet. So he was like, yeah, I think that's a good idea, and I minored in criminology. So I took criminology classes and chemistry classes as well. So that's how I kind of got started.
I got you.
In there.
So you graduated,
Graduated.
and then you're like, okay, I need to find a job.
Need to find a job. So, of course, you know, I had to pay the bills.
Yep.
So I had to start. Before that, for school, before I graduated school, I actually was in the lab, you know, working in the geology department.
Okay.
And I did that, and I liked that area, you know, with the water and so forth. So I liked that side of the sciences. So I was interested in that. But coming out and graduating school, we hit, you know, the market was bad. Nobody was getting jobs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I remember I had friends that was like, I'm going back to school because I'm not hitting, you
Yeah.
know, the market because it's bad. You know, I know friends that decided to do, they decided to get their degrees, like go to,
Keep going, get their masters and stuff
so forth like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I don't want to, you know, rack up so much debt, you know. So I was
Come
like,
out
let
100
me,
grand in
right.
debt. Yeah.
So I was like, let me go out and find a job. And then I was looking up lab jobs, got interviews, no callbacks, you know, for certain ones. There's some that I went to, didn't like, you know, it wasn't really what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I looked up you guys.
Well, you're fresh. I mean, so
Yeah.
when you come out, you don't have that experience that a lot of people are looking
Right,
for.
right.
Because
which
you're a
is
fresh graduate.
which is
right?
bull. It really
But
is.
that's how they look at it.
Right.
You know? They're
but
like,
which
okay.
is it's bull. It really is. Like
Yeah.
it's a to me it's like a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like you're fresh out of school, where are you gonna get that experience?
Right.
And then you see how they're paying too. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, I have, you know, this degree, racked up all this debt, and that's how much you're paying?
Right.
You gotta be kidding me. So obviously
yeah.
you're gonna be looking, you know, for, you know, something else.
Well, it's
or-
almost like your first 6 months out of school, you almost had to take the job for free.
basically.
I mean, that's
You have
really
to
how they
take
look
what-
at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you,
So-
gotta, you have to get your foot in the door
If
somehow.
you're not living with your
Right.
parents,
Right.
or you have some sort of roommate scenario or something,
Right.
I mean, that first 6 months, you're like
Right.
starving.
Right.
But then after that, now you got some experience, now you
Right.
work, but don't quit that job
Right.
before you get the next
Yeah,
job,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you
yeah,
have
yeah.
6 months and then you quit, then
Right.
they're like, oh, well, this one just jumps from one
Right,
job
right,
to
right.
another.
You don't want it to look. It looks bad on
Yeah.
your resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do look. You know, look at that if you just only do like 3 to 6 months. You know, worth of work. They're kind of like, oh, you're not committed.
Right.
You know, to a job. So I always wanted to do something where I had some experience, so I can say, hey, this is what I want. I've done this. There it is.
You didn't have the opportunity for any internships anywhere?
No, I did an internship my senior year, but I didn't like what it was either
Okay.
with the internship. Chemistry is pretty broad.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can do basically anything
Yeah.
and go into any type of major. You just kind of have to find your niche of what
Right.
you want to do.
What you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So with your dad working at IFF,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you have any interest for it when you were like growing up? You were like, oh, my dad talks about this or that, or did the...
I never even thought of it.
He just goes to work someday, comes back with money, seems to pay the bills, and
Yeah.
we're good.
He would come home with flavored syrup every time. We'd be drinking either orange drink or lime drink or fruit punch, and that's what we'd be drinking when he brings stuff home. He'd bring home the
So he never
concentrate.
came home like smelling funky or anything? Or you were just like, you
I don't
didn't
know.
even notice?
I never noticed.
You were that kid.
Yeah.
Like whatever. That's funny.
And IFF in the United, I mean, that's one of the biggest companies. I mean,
Right.
they're in the billions. So it's
Right.
not even, no, they're billion
Right.
industry. So, I mean, they do the raw materials, the processing,
Mm-hmm.
massive flavor, fragrance. I mean, they're huge. That's interesting. All right. So I think to me, the customers know that we have perfumers that are creating fragrances, but they don't really know like how it began or where you learned or what's required. You know, oh, there's French perfumers and you need to go overseas
Right.
and you need to be trained on this. And then you got the Perfumer Society and all this other stuff. I think to me, back in the day, we didn't I'm not saying we because I wasn't even around when they were doing it this way, but it was mainly you smelt something and you had to go off of that.
Correct.
There wasn't GC Mass Spec. We didn't have, Chem Station and these other programs that were helping us. So literally it was some guy's experience of smelling something, knowing where it came from, where it was harvested,
Yeah.
what country it came,
Wow.
what season, and they would kind of try to figure out where this stuff comes. That's really changed over the last 20 years.
Sure.
A lot. Right?
It's simple now when you think of it.
Well, I think on the other side though, people are like, oh, well, you just dump it in the machine and it comes out, and you guys, why should my dupe take 2 weeks? Because it should literally only take y'all a couple hours.
I wish.
'cause
Right?
I wish.
I don't think they realize that it's
No.
it's time on the machine,
there's some fine tuning that has to get done.
Yeah.
time
Definitely,
for
yeah.
interpretation.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Then God forbid we have to go through an evaluation process and smell it to make sure it matches the target. Then when we smell it, we look at it and go, well, there's some differences here.
Right.
But the machines are telling me it's spot on,
Right.
but I'm still smelling it and the odor's a little bit off.
Right.
Right? That's where
That's when
your
Yeah.
experience steps
comes
in and goes, nope,
Have
you're
to start
missing
tuning.
this. We need to add this. We need to
Right.
bump this level
Yep.
a little bit. And I think that's missed. So do we need to have the French perfumer that goes to the academy? I don't think so.
No.
But do we need to have 30 years or 40 years experience in the industry on this is the product, this is where it comes from, this is what the GC run looks like, this is how I can tell the percentages? Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So you being trained underneath him, you're absorbing that 40 years of knowledge.
Right. They're trying to. Yeah. 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 It's a lot though.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. So to me, AFI, the perfumery, this is where it comes from. These are the people that create your fragrances. AFI.
Has anybody seen Josh?